tell, in terms of scientific output, there wasn't much offered
Well, we have
in this press conference.
plenty of questions for you. One question that was just posed. Can you respond to their conversation about, or their comments about it putting off nickel?
Well, so indeed, that's one of the anomalies. I listed 12 anomalies about 3I Atlas. One of them is that the detection of nickel was not supplemented by significant detection of iron. And in fact, the first detection of nickel had no iron, just an upper limit. Very extreme ratio of nickel to iron that was never seen before in any comet. And obviously that's puzzling, because nickel and iron are produced in exploding stars in similar amounts. And in fact, for the solar composition, there is more iron than nickel. So we've never seen something like that. And, when we, for example, find nickel from the impact of asteroids that are nickel rich, they are also iron rich. There is never a situation where it's mostly nickel and very little iron, except for industrial production of alloys, nickel alloys that are used for aerospace applications. So, I mean, they are always seeing whatever data we get as a signature of an unusual comet. Okay, so no matter how unusual the chemical composition would be, they would say, well, it came from a different environment. What do you expect? The main anomaly that I find extremely puzzling, and they didn't even mention it, is the size of the object. So, based on the data that we have by now, which is not just the Webb telescope data that they mentioned, but other details, it looks like the object is at least 5 kilometers in diameter and maybe more. And that means that it's at least 1,000 times more massive than the previous comet. We know it was a comet, Borisov, discovered in 2019. And moreover, it's about 1,000,000 times more massive than Oumuamua, the first interstellar object. So when you see the third object being 1,000 times more massive than the second and 1,000,000 times more massive than the first, it should raise a big question. How is that possible? Because we should have found 1,000 Borisovs and 1,000,000 Oumuamuas before finding one giant iceberg of the type that we found. So this should be really a puzzle. They should have mentioned it as a puzzle, but they don't even mention that. And the second is, why do we have it in the plane of the planets? I mean, obviously, it's a great fortune that all the NASA observatories can look at it, and they mentioned the fact that they look at it. They're really happy about the fact that they could monitor it all the time. But that fact that they can monitor it all the time is really a miracle, because only 1 in 500 incoming objects would be aligned so well with the ecliptic plane of the planets that allows all these NASA assets to be used. So they don't comment about that. So all the things that appear extremely rare, like all these features, maybe they say something that is not well understood. So NASA, these administrators basically are trying to portray an image of an unusual comet because it came from a different environment, but they don't attend to the fact that there are extremely rare properties of this comet that should puzzle them. So I think the appropriate response to that would be, there are very puzzling facts about this. Maybe indeed it's a natural comet, but it means that we don't understand the factories that make such things. Because if we get such a big package that happens to be aligned with the plane of the planets and shows much more nickel than iron, maybe there is something really fundamentally wrong with the way we think about the origin of this thing. They don't even bring this up. I mean, I don't have an issue with them claiming it must be natural, but even if it's natural, it seems to me that the main message is that, we are missing something. We don't know how such an object is generated.
Well, if